Every night, the German, with a flashlight, would go from one mattress to the other one, and so we had to run out. When the German came in one door, we were out, the three of us, there were a few doors there, we would run out. Yeah. And as soon as he disappeared, we would come back, and they gave us some mattresses and covers, and we would sleep there, and whatever the 28 portions of soup they got, they would share with us. And many times during the day we were, they had to hide us under blankets and sit on us and so on. It was really very dangerous. One day they heard that everybody has to appear in a certain place, office, to get permission to go back to Poland. Because those were sick people, and they were supposed to have a transport going back to Poland. So one day they said we have to be, like it was 1.5 miles from the camp, everybody had to appear. There was the commandant, and he was giving papers for everybody, permission to go back to Poland. We started to worry. They had a list of all the people going back to Poland. We were not on this list. We had a little meeting, and Erik, the fellow, said that we will all go together. I'll just have to go, each of us will have to stand in front of the official who is writing out the document, and if they will not find our names, say that must be some kind of a mistake. It happened when we came, we were naturally very worried, the three of us. I think I was the first one to go into the office. We were standing we were all lined up, and as we came in, there was a man sitting, looking at a big list, and a secretary with a typewriter beside him. When my turn came, he didn't even look at the list. Where do you want to go? I said, Katowice. He said to the secretary, Maria Janina Burczynska, write Katowice. She had already a certain form, a prepared form. All she had to write in is the name and the place of the destination. Everything was prepared, really. And I saw that was so easy. That was so wonderful. When I got this document in my hand, I was the happiest person under the sun. And I rushed out and I said to Yadzia, they don't even look at the list. Go straight, look him straight in the eyes. Don't worry. There is nothing, no indication of anything. And that's how Rena, Yadzia, and I got the papers. Now, we were so happy, and we were running back for 1.5 miles with the papers back to our camp. And when we came to this camp, and everybody had already papers, you see, but this Erik couldn't go back to Poland. He had to go back to the place from where they took him, which was a German farm in Thuringia. So he started to work on us. He said, don't be stupid. What will you do in Poland? Poland is fighting now with the Russians. The Germans and the Russians are there. Let's go to a farm nearby. I know the Germans need some people to work on their farms. You'll be having a lot of food. You'll work for them on a farm, and you'll be away from somewhere in a small place. You'll be away from the war. And do this, we'll wait in Germany for the end of the war, and after the war will be over, we will go back to Poland. But we said, we haven't got any farms. What farms? Where farms? We don't know anything about that. He said, don't worry. I will take you to my farm where I worked, and I have to go back there. And instead of going back to Poland, we went to a train with Erik, and we went to Thuringia. And he took us right straight to his village, to the mayor, Bürgermeister, what they call, to the mayor of the town. And he said, I have here 3 Polish girls that want to stay here and work on the farm. And actually, tell you the truth, that was for me, being Jewish, that was the best thing. He didn't know, nobody knew I was Jewish. But thinking that I am Jewish, hidden on a German farm, I am always in Warsaw or in Katowice, wherever I would be exposed to the Germans who were looking for Jews, looking for, there on a German farm. I was hidden. I had my food. I had to work very hard, it's true. My luck was that I was the Bürgermeister, the mayor of this village, assigned me to the richest farmer in this region, Walhlwinkel. He was the butcher. They always left, in each town, the Germans left the butcher. He never went to the army. At least a man or two were left, to help out the other people with killing pigs and providing food for the village. So he was the richest one, and at the same time the butcher. And they needed help badly. They really embraced me. They gave me a room to sleep in. Maria was like a member of the family. They were very good to me. I was very lucky. Of the three girls, Yadja, Rena, and Maria, myself, I had the best place. We had let's say 1 day off, or twice a week, Sunday half a day off, and I think Thursday half a day off, where we used to meet and take walks in the village, or sit and talk, but nothing else. We couldn't go far. After all, also, don't forget that they were paying us 16 marks, which is 50 cents a week or something for our work. They had to know, and we had to wear on our coats a sign, is Ost, East, like, that we come from the, they shouldn't think that we are Germans, because we were like second, third grade citizens or something.
So what were the people like? What was their...
Now I'll tell you about the family.
Yeah.
There were two families living in this tremendous big rich house. There was the mother, I forgot her name, his name was Oscar Hesse, Hesse, or maybe without the Hesse, I think, without the E, his wife, and a 13-year-old daughter, Margot. Then her parents, her father and mother, lived with them together. But they had a big estate, like they had pigs and they had horses and they had many cows. He was a very rich man, don't forget. And they had fields that belonged to them. In the spring, I had to work in the fields. So we would go, with a wagon and a horse, go all the way there, a few miles away from the village where they had their fields. And there in the spring there was a lot of work. Actually, they were all very nice to me. They used to sit in the evenings and knit socks for me, for Maria. Everything they did was for Maria. They were really very nice to me, and as far as food was concerned, I could eat as much as I wanted. And I had a tremendous appetite, and I was very strong. I must say, I was really strong. If I washed the floor, I had already the training from the boats, how to work physically and clean. They gave us a fantastic training. So whatever I did, the Germans were always happy. The family was happy. I only remember little girl was 13 years old, Marco, and his name was Oscar, the father. He never said anything bad to me or something, because I was a good worker. They had nothing against me, just the reverse. They used to say, the war will be over, Maria will stay with us after the war. They liked me, I spoke German. And at night, very often we used to sit and play games. I used to play games with them, with the daughter, like lotto or domino or things like that, And she loved the mother, the Mrs. Hesse, had beautiful, long, very thick hair. And her biggest pleasure was when I would take a brush and brush her long hair for 15, 20 minutes, which I had to do every day, and I didn't mind. Really. They were very decent to me, I must say, but they were thinking that all my life I'll stay with them and be a slave there and be a maid, because that's all I did. Every Saturday night I had to polish his boots, because every Sunday all the men from the villages around had a meeting anyhow, and they were drilling them. They had drill. And his boots had to be shiny. And my job was to polish the boots, and I used to hate it. Really, I hated it. Also, little Margot belonged to a to a Hitler youth movement. So I had to wash her scarf, and I had to wash her blouse and iron her skirt, because it was a big, big affair. Once a week she used to go out for a few hours with the little girls. You know, so and at the table very often I would hear conversations, oh, we will win the war, Hitler will show that we are on top, things like that, which used to upset me very much. They liked me because I used to, you know, I was very gentle with the animals, and whoever came in the first few weeks when I started to work for them and introduced me, this is Maria, our help, but she loves animals. She had Tiere gerne. It means she loves animals. That's how they used to introduce me. And I used to get up very early, 5 o'clock in the morning, put on my apron, put on my Dutch wooden boots, these sabots, and go down to my cows. First of all, I had to clean them and milk them. I think milk them so early, I can't remember, maybe not milk them, but clean them anyhow, brush them, and give them water, and give them food. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, 6 o'clock in the morning we would have breakfast, a very good breakfast. Then I would go back to the barn, or to the horses, or something around the house, or clean the house, or wash the floors in the kitchen, and then by 9 o'clock we would have a second breakfast. And then after supper we would sit in the living room and play, because we didn't have any newspapers, so we used to play domino. I used to play with little Margot, she was 13. And go to bed very early. By 8 o'clock I think we were all asleep already. But Rena and Yadja were starving. I used to steal food for them for my farmer, because Rena worked for an elderly couple whose 2 or 3 sons were on the front, and they didn't have much food. As I had plenty, as much as I wanted, so I was really fortunate. And Yadja worked for a widow who had Erik work there on the same farm. Erik and Yadja worked for the same widow, and she was very, very stingy with her food there. Very stingy. So I was the one who was the lucky one in many respects. So I had to steal. Very often I would go in there, nobody saw me, to this tremendous room, and the whole ceiling was filled with fantastic salamis, and steal a small salami, keep it in my room. And when I used to go out on the day, like the day, I will do it the day before or the day, 2 days before, somehow the necessity teaches you how to do things. Yeah. That I was very good at stealing, I must say, really. It's also interesting, whenever Germans would pass this village, they made their headquarters with Oscar Hesse. So many times I had 20, 30 soldiers there, sleeping all over the place, but I had to peel potatoes for them, and we had to give them food, cut bread, and prepare and wash after them, and that was happened a few times. So one day, while I was preparing supper, and there were maybe 30 soldiers around, something happened, and they left in a matter of 5 minutes. They disappeared. The motorcycles, and they had bicycles, middle of supper. Mm-hmm. And so I said to myself, something's going on, but what I didn't know. But I had a good feeling. I felt something is doing. If they ran away from this village, something is approaching us. Mm-hmm. I didn't know who. I thought maybe the English, the Americans. I didn't know, we were so... It didn't take long. 2 days later, we heard shooting around, shooting, noise, and suddenly tanks appeared in our village. It's American soldiers sitting on them. And right away they came over to Mr. Hesse, and they took over his place. So I was with America. For the first time I saw Americans,